We are back. This is Open Mic, and my name is Michael Chasney. I am starting this show today, and I want to thank my guests so far. And we're going to continue our discussion. Dr. Bart?
Yes, we're talking about the role that business can play in terms of fostering, focusing the education structure that produces the kinds of individuals to fill the jobs that need to be done. And there's two things here. One, of course, is the Chamber of Commerce is usually a wonderful voice for businesses to join, to say to the government as one voice, to say, here's our needs to run our businesses. We need people with skills and competencies and knowledge so that we can grow our businesses. And if we can't get them internally, then we have to import them. It's as simple as that. Because we've got plans to grow. And by the way, there's a rule of thumb in business: if you're not growing, then you're actually dying, because your competitors are growing and they are making you smaller, and you will not exist very long. So the key here is we want to grow. We need to have the skills, resources, and competencies to be able to do that. That usually comes in the form of a workforce, but it has to be the right kind of skills. So it's very important for the chamber to be able to clearly articulate, say, here's the number of jobs that we could fill like that if we had the people trained to do it. We can't hire people who don't know how to do this stuff. And through our taxes, we need you, government, to signal what educational activities are being promoted and discouraged. In my country, for instance, the government provides subsidies to both the universities and to the technical schools. Over the years, the proportion of money that's going to technical schools has started to increase, because the government wants to say, here's a whole bunch of jobs that needs to be filled, and we're going to make it a lot easier for people to go to a technical school. We're going to make it less expensive for people to go to a technical school than to a university, because they're going to divert some of the money away and force the universities to raise their fees, which will, of course, cause some people to say, well, maybe the university's too expensive. Maybe I don't need an English literature degree, but I can make a really good, I can get a job and support my family as a plumber, as an electrician, as a television movie technician here. So I can do that. The other thing that I think, though, is very exciting, and this could be instituted right away with almost no legislative changes whatsoever. At more and more universities in my country are now combining a technical certificate with a university degree. Mm-hmm. So you want to come in and get your English literature degree or your Ukrainian studies degree, but you're also going to learn how to be a dental hygienist. Mm-hmm. You're going to learn to be
that's an excellent idea.
Some other little skill, to be a plumber, to be a technician, correct, a television repair person. And so you will have
it's so funny you should say that, because when I lived in the US, this is what I found. Vis-a-vis a St. Lucian and say a New Yorker, these people could do many things. They could do a little electrical work. Yeah. They could be a little bit of a plumber. I'm not saying they were experts, but could fix a pipe, including your humble servant. I'm hopeless when it comes to things like that. I have to call somebody for everything, and that makes a big difference, because what happens there, that becomes an expense which affects your everyday life. So a man earning a salary, if he has to call out an electrician to change a bulb at a minimum price of X dollars per hour, it eats into your revenue. Right. But going back to education, I've long advocated that what we really need in St. Lucia is some universities, okay? I mean, it has happened. It's for the last 30 years in Grenada. They now have 7,000 students. In Portsmouth, Dominica, there's 1,700 students. In Antigua and St. Kitts, which only started a couple of years ago, they each have about 800 students, and they do different degrees there. And what has happened, two things have happened. It is less expensive to come to the Caribbean, and you also have put those universities close to the water, So people, there's a tourist feeling in a, what you call, in a professional atmosphere. And this has worked wonders. And remember, take Grenada, 7,000 students. It's like 7,000 visitors on the island year round. In addition to that, you have the parents and friends coming to visit them. So consequently, adjacent to St. George's University, you have hundreds of apartments today. I was down in Grenada in the last 4 months. And even though Grenada is considered in the doldrums economically, you cannot get a piece of land to buy within a half a mile of the university. The amount of apartments that have gone up, okay? And you see, success breeds success.
Yes, absolutely.
And although our Prime Minister has indicated his intention to promote the south of the island as a university town, but I still feel, though I wish to thank Spartan University and St. Helen and a couple others, International University, who I think Spartan has been here almost 35 to 40 years. They have approximately 140 students, and the others maybe 50, 60, and there are a couple of smaller ones. But I think the time is ripe for a real university to be erected on the island, reconstructed, should I say, and properly accredited. As a matter of fact, about 3 days ago, I had discussions with Dr. Stephen King and some of his friends from the US who have the ability to have these universities accredited. And it is something, having just exited the supermarket industry, I'm looking at very seriously, because I feel right down, for instance, where we have the property down by the VG airport, there's some 7 acres there, and I think it would be an ideal location to start off an institution of that kind. And it would take us to another level. But as you rightly pointed out, we can do a number of vocational
technical.
And technical industries on the island.
But
So
tell me why you think that this talk has been going on. We've been hearing this, talk shows after talk shows, people speak about these exact issues. Why are they not happening?
Well, I think
what's the reason?
I honestly think the political will has not been there, because I believe the politicians in power at this time have not yet fully comprehended the importance of it. And that has me baffled, because Grenada is only half an hour from St. Lucia, and they hold meetings there. And don't tell me that our politicians have not seen what has taken place in Grenada, Dominica, St. Kitts and Antigua. You know, one should emulate success. I'm not saying to copy people, but the field is wide open, because you have thousands of people wanting an education. And you know, with what is happening abroad today, I mean, look at, for instance, the climate conditions in the US today. You have intense heat and you have intense cold, okay? You have America is slowly getting back on its feet. The economy is rising. I mean, I lived in Florida for 5 years, some 25 years ago. And I visited Florida maybe about a year ago. And Florida has become extremely expensive. And it is expensive to live in those parts. And also, another added attraction is, if these universities were to take place here, figure the buying power from those people, you know, everybody would benefit. Right now, for instance, you have a number of small entrepreneurs who are suffering, the different shops and so forth. All that could be invigorated by the influx of those people. But to answer your questions, I think the political will has not been there. You see, I honestly feel at this stage that I've repeatedly said to the Prime Minister, when an economy is in the doldrums, you have to think differently. We have, for instance, a planning department here. We have some very well-educated people there. But the department is constrained by regulations. And the time has come when the government in power, and more so the Prime Minister, who has the control over that section, should have seminars, and people like yourself, where we should have proper meetings and say to the planning department, you have a role to play. For instance, today, if I have 7 acres of land and I have a group of people willing to come in, I only discovered yesterday, and I don't know how true it is, that if you do a university, there are no charges at all levied against, like the building fees. That is eliminated. If that is so, that's a good sign. But then, you know, the planning department should get together with the investors and say, look, we really want to help you for the good of the island, we want to get it up. Because I've said before, it's called Development Control Authority. We should take off the word control, Development Authority. Because when you go into the planning department, it is a place that you're inviting people, and it should be more, what's the word should I use, pleasing. There should be a nice lounge where you meet an investor and the planners can come out and talk to you. They have a counter, and it's as though you're fighting an organization that's against you, and that's not on. We have to take a break. This is Open Mic, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.